In this video, I will show you how to make transitions, techniques you can use to go from one piece of footage to another. We will also look at splitting your footage to create voiceovers and cutaways. Now, what you'll find from having put your footage together is that your interviewee will move suddenly from one clip to another. So we need to find a professional way to make it look like you intended that to happen and mask it to a degree. So if you click on the area where one clip ends and another begins, and put your playhead there by just dragging it to that position, and then click on the Effects tab and search for Cross, and you'll see Cross Dissolve. I want you to drag that so that it goes across one clip to the next. Now it has a sort of default duration, so a timing of about 1 second. You can make that longer if you want to by dragging it. I tend to keep it at 1 second because I know every time that I put one of those dissolves on, it's going to be the same length if I don't change it. And that means if I use it several times, it will all be the same. And what it basically does is it kind of blends one image into the next. So it looks like you've tried to do something about the fact that your footage changes and your interviewee moves. So it just looks a little bit more professional.
Under construction at the time.
Another effect that you might want to use, if you go back to the beginning of your clip, at the moment we've got what we call a hard cut, where the interview footage just suddenly starts. There's no fade in. So we can solve that by moving our playhead to the beginning, typing in fade here, and you'll notice there's transitions for audio and transitions for video. We want video because we want our video footage to fade in, so I'm going to click on fade to colour, drag it on the beginning. Again, it's got a default length of about a second, and it will automatically choose black. It's going to presume that you want to fade from black into your footage. And that just makes a nice professional start to your film. Usually use this effect at the very beginning of your film and at the very end, and probably not in the middle. If you see lots of fades through a film, it can be a bit distracting. Now, because we've done a little bit of work now, what we want to make sure that we do is go to File and Save. I'm just going to call this Interview and save it. And now you should see that it's changed from Untitled Project to whatever I saved it as, which is Interview. It's worth making sure that you save your project as you're editing. Editing is a long process, and the last thing that you want to do is not have saved it for an hour or so and have lost an hour's worth of work. So it's useful to use the keyboard shortcut, which is Control and S, and that will automatically save your footage for you. Now, there are times when you might want to illustrate what your interviewee is talking about, so use other footage rather than the interview footage to show what they're talking about. So here I know my interviewee is talking about Coventry City Centre. So what I might want to do is split this footage so that I have the voiceover, the audio at the bottom, and then I can put a different image in here. So what I've done is I've run a search on Wikipedia to find an image of Coventry City Centre. Now, you may have footage, photographs, newspaper articles that you have in your archives. What you need to be aware of is whether they are copyright free or not. So that's a separate exercise that you need to do to make sure that you can actually use the images, because whoever's taken the photograph, the copyright belongs to them. This person has been part of Wikipedia Takes Coventry, and they've basically taken photographs of the precinct. So this image of the city centre, although it's not from 1970, it gives you an idea of what Coventry looks like now. An older image would be more relevant, but I'm just using this so that you can understand the process. And this particular image is one that I can use. The work's been released to the public domain. It'll tell me exactly what that means. It means that I grant anyone the right to use this work for any purpose. Okay, so I know I can use that image. So click on it once, right click on it, save picture as, and I've already saved it into my folder. So now what I want to do is cut this here. So I need to unlink the video and the audio by right clicking on it. I need to use my slice tool to cut here. I'm not going to play this back, I'm just going to show you actually how to do it. So it may not match up with the footage exactly, but you'd want to do this more precisely. And then I'm going to click there. I'm going to use my selection tool to delete that bit. So now you can see that the audio carries on, but there's a hole in my footage here where there's nothing. I'm going to go to Media tab, double click, grab that picture, put that on this top track to begin with. So this is where having a second track is useful, because I can just drag the end of it to fit the exact size, and then I can put it in there. So it's going to cut from the interview footage to the image.
Museum weren't there, it was the theatre, Coventry Theatre.
So she's talking about the theatre there, so a theatre image would be better. But to save time, I'm just showing you this image for now. Now what you'll notice is it doesn't fit the screen size that we've got here. So this is the whole size of our video, and this is very small, so we'll have black space around it. If I right click on it, I can go to Transform, Fit to Frame Width, and then I can drag it down so it now fills the whole screen. And then I might just want to select a different part of it. Now if you've got some image editing software like Photoshop, you might want to go into your project settings, set up a file that's got these proportions and scale the image to fit, if you can't match it exactly how you want to in HitFilm. But that's going to show us a little bit of the precinct. And then it cuts straight back to her. So this is known as a hard cut, from one piece of footage to the next. And the image, it could be footage of any kind, so it could be video or imagery. That's known as a cutaway. And these kind of cutaways help you to visualize what she's talking about. So they help you to tell the story. So other examples might be that someone brings in an object that's relevant to their story of migrating from one country to another, and you want to actually make a cutaway of that object. It may be a photograph that talks about when they got married or their first house. These are all things that will help to tell your story and make it more believable. Now what you'll notice from the editing that I've just done is I've unlinked my audio and my video footage, and I can't easily relink them because this section is cut out in the middle. Now what you could do is click on your audio here, use your slice tool, go to the end there and cut it, and then use your selection tool to just click and drag around there and link it back together by selecting it and right clicking on link. If you don't want to go through that process, you just need to be careful that you don't, if I go back, move this, and then you've obviously got a big hole here, and then if I move that, I've got to be very accurate to make sure that I put everything back to where it should be. So it can be useful to go through that process, but it depends on how disciplined you are. Now once you've got a few clips like this, you may decide, well, actually this first clip or one of your others, you want to make it longer. You can use what's called the ripple edit tool, and that allows you to make one clip longer and all of the other clips on the timeline will be pushed along. So you don't have to go through changing each one of them. So if I click on this tool here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see more what I'm doing. If I make this clip a bit longer, like that, it's pushed all the other clips along. There are times when you will want to move all of your clips together so that you can add in a piece of footage perhaps at the very beginning. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do that. So I've zoomed right out. I'm using the selection tool, which is just this tool here, and I just click and drag to highlight all of my clips. And then I'm going to move them all up by just clicking and dragging them together. And then what I'm going to show you is how to add our ident, so the Grandma's Story logo at the beginning of your footage. So I can either click on import here, or I can just double click in this window. There's my ident at the end. So I've imported that, and I'm just going to drag it onto the timeline. So that's where it ends. I'm going to click off that footage, click and drag around all of these clips and move them to the beginning there. So they just snap onto the end of my ident clip. So if I drag my playhead to the beginning now,
I was born in Lincoln.
so now I've got my ident at the very beginning, and then all of my other clips play.